What's going on, everyone? So in the latest episode, episode 6 of season 3, we see Victor and Henry team up to go and capture Jasper. And they do. And they do it successfully. And you have this nice little heartfelt moment that I really thought was a nice touch personally, where Henry's trying to open up that dialogue with Victor and trying to, connect and just spend some time together because he has just so much lost time from his son. And, you see Victor kind of brush him off and like, no, I got this important task to do. And then Victor, you see him kind of realize the situation of like, my father's trying, and he tells him, like what I have to do is very dangerous and I don't want you to get hurt. And I thought that was just such an honest moment for Victor and Henry, because, Victor, it's his dad, right? And yes, he hasn't known him in 30 plus years, but it's still his dad, and he doesn't want to see his father get hurt, and he has this connection, and I'm sure there's a big part of him that wants to reconnect with his father and stuff, but he knows, I have this mission. And it goes in to show something that I've talked about with Victor, in the sense of he's not as clueless and foolish as people make him out to be. I see a lot of comments from people, like when I talk about theories and just stuff with Victor, and people are like, he's not that smart, he can't do that. He's very childlike, but he is very intelligent, right? Great example. Him and Henry go into the tunnels, right? Go into the caves, and they get to the point where Jasper originally was, where Victor saw Jasper. He knew every detail. He knew where they needed to go. He remembers things constantly. He has a great memory, but so much so, he said there was a table here, there was a clock over here, Jasper was sitting there, right? Like, he described every detail. And then they go further into the tunnels, and everything he described exactly how it was laid out is laid out just further down in the tunnels. This guy is a lot smarter than people give him credit for. And that's why I really do think he's a big key to solving this puzzle that is From. But what I really want to focus on and talk about in this video in particular is Victor is clearly off limits. And we got a ton of proof in this last episode. So again, Victor and Henry go into the tunnels. Henry is concerned, as anyone would be, right? Like, you could be leading us to our death here, buddy, right? Like, but Victor is so confident, so sure, keeps reassuring Henry, keeps telling him, we're going to be fine. I promise you, we'll be fine. Let's go through these tunnels. Let's get what we need to get, right? He goes to the tunnels regularly. We've seen him go to the tunnels several times and spend a good amount of time in the tunnels. He ends up going and goes very deep into the tunnels and ends up finding what he needs to find. They go and they take Jasper. Henry finds something in which it belonged to Tabitha, a piece of clothing, and he loses himself for a moment and wakes up two monsters. The monsters literally have them dead to rights. Now, maybe not Victor, because Victor is familiar with the monsters and he could probably get away, but he doesn't like freak out and panic and take off running or, hey, let's go again. Like, no, he literally just kind of sits there and surveys for a moment, tells Henry, you need to get out of here, go, right? He has Jasper. He's there long enough for the monster to relay to Victor, hey, if you keep coming down in these tunnels, we might have to make you stay. They could have easily went after them, right? Victor knows that they're not going to run, that they're not going to go after him, right? That they're not going to sprint full speed, like the running zombies. No, they're going to slow walk, but Henry doesn't know that. And you have no idea where the rest of those monsters are. Right? They could completely surround Henry and Victor, and that's it. Henry and Victor are gone. Right? But they don't. They don't even chase after him. They don't even, nothing. They could care less about him. And all they do is just kind of make a joke in passing of like, hey, you keep coming down here, we might make you stay. And you want further evidence? Okay, let's look at further evidence. There have been several times in which Victor has been in compromised positions and totally okay. Like, monsters aren't even, like, focused on him, right? One, he spends the day in the tunnels because the boy in white tells him to wait for Tabitha. He literally is just chilling in the tunnels where all the monsters sleep. And Tabitha and him see monsters, right? Like, yet he's not worried. He's not concerned. He's just sitting there vibing the whole time, living his best life, dapping up the monsters and just hey, let's have a little tea party, right? While I wait for Tabitha. Nothing. No problem. No concern. He gets Tabitha. He gets her out. No issues. Earlier in the season, all the monsters, the ambush, Tien ends up dying. Victor is the only one that's just moseying along, and none of the monsters seem to go after him whatsoever. They're after Jade. Jade is in a bad position where he looks like he might die, right? Like, everyone is in this bad spot. You see Ethan and Julie, they're running for their lives. Everybody is in a bad position except for Victor, who's just moseying along with the animals. Just straight chilling. No concern, no nothing, right? Like, there are times that Victor is Colony House, another great example, right? Colony House is being attacked, being ambushed by monsters. And Victor is just like helping Julie, like, he didn't seem worried about himself whatsoever. Helps Julie down. And then, Julie's like trying to run. He's like, no, come on this way. Calm, cool, collected, right? Like, Victor seems untouchable. Now, how? Why? Right? Like, why would Victor be untouchable? Now, it could be that this place just likes Victor, right? Victor has been there since he was a little boy, right? He lived there for so long by himself, even. They never killed him. They never went after him. They never put some evil curse or did, like a nightmare thing on him. Nothing. Just chilling for who knows how long. He also became best friends with the boy in white. Literally, he says, it's my friend. He also calls Fromville home on several occasions, right? Like, so could it be that the boy in white has made Victor off limits? Is Victor off limits because the boy in white says so? Right? We've seen the boy in white help Victor numerous times. We've seen the boy in white help several people numerous times. I mean, he even helps Tabitha go and get Henry, right? And I even said, there's plenty of clues and evidence for that. Did a whole video breaking that down, right? Go check out that video after this one, right? Where, Victor Tabitha thinks that she's on a mission to go and save the children. She fails to save the children. The boy in white pushes Tabitha out of the lighthouse and then leads her in the real world down the path that leads her to Henry. Also gets her the lunchbox. I know Victor gave her the lunchbox, but it's very possible that the boy in white told Victor, like, hey, give her the lunchbox. And we know that the boy in white has helped Victor even when he was alone, and they were hanging out and were best friends, right? I think if I had to guess why Victor is off limits, it's probably because of the boy in white. The boy in white has probably made it clear to this place because we have no idea who or what the boy in white is, right? Sarah herself has said that the boy in white is that she doesn't believe it's a boy, right? Like, it could be God, it could be the overseer of this place, it could be, the devil, it could be a million things, right? Like, it could just be a spirit that has powers and say there. Also, you can make an argument the boy in white is probably what brought Tabitha and Henry back, right? Like, so again, it's like, why else would Victor be safe? He lived years. Like, people didn't come. Every time, I've talked about this before, there are patterns from, right? Colony House gets attacked. People die. Bunch of people die, right? You get a whole bus of people. Recently, every time 2 people died, 2 people replaced. 5 people die, 5 people replaced. You want a recent example? Here's a recent example, right? Ambulance comes, Tabitha's on it, but she's already accounted for. But who isn't? Officer Acosta and Henry, right? The 2 EMTs, they die, right? But Officer Acosta and Henry, they survive. So Nikki dies. And who else? Dale. 2 people die, 2 people come back. We've constantly seen people die and new people come to replace. Except for when the massacre happened and Victor lived who knows how long by himself with just the boy in white. Is it possible that the boy in white basically is protecting Victor and the boy in white helps Victor all the time? Victor and the boy in white literally have conversations. They talk all the time. We know this, right? It's been relayed. It's been shown. It's been given. So him and the boy in white clearly have a relationship, and a solid one. Him and Ethan have a relationship. Is Ethan off limits? That's something else to kind of keep in mind, right? I know the old lady goes after what appears to be Ethan and Julie, but Julie was also there and running too. What if that creature was going after the old lady one? She was going after Julie, not Ethan. Just something to keep in mind. But I digress. Point is that Victor seems to be safe. Now, is that something that is forever? Is that something where he's allowed to live here freely without being killed for as long as he lives? Or is it something where it's just momentarily? That maybe at some point Ethan kind of steps in that role and then Victor dies at some point. That could be a possibility. That cave scene was incredibly telling to me. And look, maybe very possible I'm overanalyzing, very possible I'm just looking too far into it. But again, they had him. They had him. They were awake. Henry has no clue what's going on. Henry doesn't know. Are these things running after him? Are these things what? Henry has nowhere to go. Victor's just like, hey, let's get out of here. They go back to the thing. Henry's like freaking out and Victor's just chilling, just like, another Tuesday, right? Like, these are my boys. Don't worry. I know they're a little crazy, but they're fine. They're good people. It's just, it is. Tell me that scene wasn't weird, is my point. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you think it clearly seems like Victor is off limits and he is safe? Do you think no? It's just kind of how things have played out. It's just this place toying with him, but he's not off limits. I just think you look at all, it's something I didn't really think about or notice until that scene in the tunnel. And then I started thinking back and watching and replaying certain scenes. And it's when you have the context, and I recommend you do the same thing. If you're somebody that's skeptical on this idea, go look back. Go watch the tunnel with Tabitha, and then go watch, obviously, there's a scene where Victor loses his mind, but it's not because of the monsters or anything like that. He's chilling for a good part. It's because, he sees something, right? But go back and look at some of those scenes where Victor, even episode 1, when Victor, he's so unbothered by it all. Now, you could argue that he's just been in this place for so long, right? That he's just been here for so long that's probably what it is. And sure, but I don't know. I really do think that there's more than meets the eye here. But anyway, as always, let me know how you feel down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.